And we are live. How are y'all doing? I hope every one of y'all is having an absolutely amazing Tuesday evening. Man, super excited for tonight's interview. But for all of y'all, man, welcome to March. This is our first live stream in March. And also for those of you that are new to this group, welcome. You have found the right place to grow and level yourself up as a pre-PT. If your goal is to get into physical therapy school, if you're just looking to see if PT is the career you want, you are in the right place. And tonight's a really cool night because this is episode, I don't even remember, this is like episode 15 or whatever. Like, we've been doing this for a while, but this is part of our Pre-PT Inspires series. And today we got my brother Wesley. And the cool thing about it, man, and Wes, man, how you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling great.
Fantastic. Feeling great, man. You ready to inspire the people with your story?
Of course, absolutely.
I love it, man. The reason why we do this is this. And for those of y'all that are showing up live, comment hashtag team live or comment hashtag team replay. We're going to get super involved today in our conversation. But the reason why we do this is because we want to make sure that as a pre-PT in 2020, you really don't have excuses to not get into PT school, right? Like it's one thing for me to, like I say this all the time, y'all, like it's one thing for me and Casey to come on here live and say words that are like, wow, okay, that makes sense. Let me do it. That's one thing. It's another thing to actually hear real stories of students that have struggled like you, stories of students that have taken some years off, stories of students that are some traditional, some non-traditional, some with 2.4 GPAs, some with 4.0 GPAs, the full spectrum. And you being able to say, like that one person kind of sounds like me. They sound like they had the same issues that I'm currently struggling with. That's the same things that my family is telling me I should, pull out of PT for, right? There's the same things that my advisor is telling me, hey, pick a different career for. Y'all, like, if you hear from somebody else, it changes your belief overall. And that's why we're doing this, because we want to inspire y'all by actually showing y'all people that have gone through it, done it. And tonight we got Wesley. So I'm excited, man. Wesley, is there anything you want to tell the people before we get started tonight?
No, man, I feel like, everything you said is just absolutely true. Again, for me, and we'll get to that, a little later, but I've had plenty of people tell me, oh, man, you may not have what it takes to do this. You may not have the ability, looking at your grades, looking at this and that, your situation, you may not have the ability to do it. And I'm very glad I did not listen to any of those people for the time being, because now I got into class, I got into school. So
yes, you did. And for those of us joining live, Paul, how you doing, man? Laura, great to see you. Carol, great to see you. And those y'all that are going to be joining us later on in the live and on replay as well. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's have some fun, man. Let's have some fun. So let's start from the beginning, because I want us to jump into the not so good part, the parts where you kind of had a lot of dips, doubt, time off, all that stuff. We will get to it because I think that's important. But before we get there, like, why physical therapy? Like, what led you to this profession to begin with? Because you've been on this journey for a while. So what drew you to the profession to begin with? Because I want us to know that, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, so my story isn't that much different than maybe a lot of other people's. I did sports in high school, did basketball a lot, did a ton, and I would get hurt all the time. And so I'd have to go do rehab, do PT. And I was like, you know what? They look like they're having a lot of fun with their job. And I'm looking at a bunch of other things that I could possibly do. I'm like, this is so boring. All this stuff is so boring. And so I remember that as a senior playing basketball, I couldn't do athletic training and play on the varsity team at the same time. And so I was like, okay, obviously I love basketball, so let me do that. But always in the back of my mind, athletic training, it's that aspect of rehab, being able to get people back into motion and be able to heal people and have that, step-by-step process. I was like, man, this is amazing. I do want to be a part of it. And so very early on in kind of high school, my senior, my junior, senior year, I was like, man, I want to do PT. And I looked it up, and I was like, okay, this is something that I can kind of do. And so freshman going into college, one of my best friends, who's actually wanted to do physical therapy as well. And so we kind of, helped each other kind of push through. And he got PT Tech job, and I was observing. I was like, man, this is so dope. Like, this is like exactly what I would love to do. But then, the lingering of, you have to have a perfect GPA. You got to be perfect. You got to, do amazing in your classes. You got to have tons of hours. You got to have a PT Tech job. All this junk that I thought was poor. I was like, I was struggling in a lot of areas. I was like, dang, 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 dang. But so my wanting to want to do physical therapy never changed, but the struggle for me to go through it is what changed, and what I love the acceptance system for, because it really kind of changed my mind. It warped my previous notions to like a more positive one. So yeah, so it started in early high school and college, and then through college, and I loved it. And I always kept wanting to observe. I observed so many different settings and clinics and stuff, and met a bunch of people. But yeah, so that solidified it for my love to want to do physical therapy, pretty much.
I love it. I love it. Do any of y'all relate? For those of y'all watching live, F. Scott, how you doing? Lawrence, Melissa, Debbie, great to have y'all joining in. Does that relate to y'all? The thing is, like, your story doesn't have to be unique. You just have to know why you're doing this. And Wesley always knew. He just said, yo, like, we're about to dive into the not so great part of the story. But you just told me, you were like, yo, like, it never wavered. Like, I knew why I wanted this from the jump. That did not change regardless of the ups and downs. So let's transition a little bit, because this is what people come for. Like, it's like any movie. Like, everybody watches movies because of the not so great parts, right? Like, have y'all ever tried to watch a movie that was just perfect? Like, the very beginning of the movie was like happy, the middle of it, no problems, no conflict. Y'all, like, it doesn't work like that, right? Like real life does not work like that. So for you, Wesley, man, like, you had decided, okay, I want physical therapy. You were like, man, this is a dope profession. I love everything about it. What was now the challenge? Like, where did the obstacles begin? What was your biggest struggle? What was your biggest fear on your journey? And where did you kind of hit a wall? Because this is where most students who don't make it to the other side, who don't get into PT school, this is where they're stopped. So what was that for you?
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's exactly right. And I have a lot of friends who were in my predicament that gave up and did other careers. And essentially, I did the same thing. So, it initially started when I didn't get into my first choice school for my bachelor's degree. And I eventually graduated from U of H, but I actually went to the University of Houston downtown, which is like a smaller campus. First semester, like a 2 point, I don't know, something bad. It's all C's. I think I got a 1B my first semester. So I was like, all right, it's not terrible. And then the next semester was not great either. But I did good enough to transfer to U of H. And so I was like, okay, now I'm at the school where I'm able to, use that. I get a fresh GPA and all these things. And so first semester was really great. I had like a 3.5 GPA. I was like, okay, I can actually do this. All right, this is what's up. And then the science classes came. So physics, chemistry, A&P, mainly physics and chemistry destroyed me. And so I remember, my major was kinesiology, sports medicine. So I did very well on my sports medicine classes. And I was like, oh, this is so. When physics and chemistry hit me though, it was all over. And that like plummeted my GPA. And so when I graduated, I had a 2.89 cumulative GPA, or just undergrad GPA. And obviously through that, and this is me literally like studying 20, 30 hours a week on chemistry 1, chemistry 2, and just failing tests, having to get curved. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And so moving on from that, I was like, okay, with this 2.89 GPA, I don't think I can get anywhere. I mean, most of the minimums are 3.0, because you look and your advisor's like, oh, you obviously need a 3.0. That's it. And I'm like, yeah. So that was always a big struggle. And so I was like, okay, well, let me keep going. Let me try. So I went back to UH downtown, and I retook classes. I retook chemistry, retook physics. And this time, this was literally my full-time job, was to pass physics 1, physics 2, chem 1, chem 2, because I took them all over. I ended up getting A's in chemistry, and this is literally working like 30 hours a week, like just studying. It got so bad that I would go into their study area, their study kind of their sessions or whatever, and they would know my name. They would sign me in for me. They knew all my. Oh, Wes is back. He's doing Chem 1. He's on chapter this. It was every day. So I ended up getting A's in chemistry and A's in physics. Like, okay, cool. Now it's coming back. Okay, I can kind of do this. And then I get that first rejection stuff started happening. I applied to a bunch of schools, didn't have any guidance, thought I could do it all by myself. PT CAS, I was like, man, I can figure out PT CAS. I got it. PT CAS destroyed me because I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know how to really do letters of recommendation. Didn't know how to ask. Didn't know what to say on my essays and all these things. And I'm like, and so when I got denied from everywhere, not even denied from everywhere, I was really struggling. And then I was lucky enough to get one interview, and I was like, I don't know how I did. I got one interview. And so I go to the interview, didn't know how to take any interview stuff, didn't look up how to do interview. I don't know. I look back at myself and I'm like, I really should have had this system like 5 years ago when I first started. So I went in there. I thought I did great in the interview. They said no. I didn't get it. They didn't even get put on the wait list or anything. It was just straight deny. And so that was really rough. And so especially when you're going from doing bad in undergrad to kind of redeeming yourself a little bit, post undergrad, and then getting an interview and you're like, oh, this may actually happen, and then just saying nope, nada. And so it was rough, but I'm really glad I did not give up. But essentially I did give up for about 4 years. So yeah.
And before we jump to the 4 years, because we are about to talk about it, like I don't want us to skip over this part.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you guys watching this live or on replay, I'm not sure where you are in your journey. Like, we're not sure where you are in your journey. But what I do know is that the story that Wesley just gave is extremely normal, as in it happens a lot. And what I mean by that, even more specifically, is like, I know why I want to be a physical therapist. Check. I work my tail off. So you already know you're not lazy. Like, y'all heard, like, studying for these classes was his full-time job. Like, when you're studying 30 hours a week, you should get paid for that at that point. You know what I mean? So like don't get lost in it, because a lot of times what happens is, like, the reason why I'm highlighting this is because we get lost in it where we're like, oh my goodness, like, oh, like I'm working so hard, it's not paying. Yo, like, he was working his tail off. And did he see some progress? Yeah, he did. He saw some. But the biggest thing is, like, now what happens is, because he was still shooting in the dark and all this other stuff, he ultimately got rejected. Now, like, what does that feel like? Like, stay there real quick. Like, what did that feel like for you, man? Like, when you got to the point where you were like, I've worked my tail off. I know I want this thing. I got rejections. I got an interview. I thought it was good, but then they rejected me. No wait list, nothing. Mm-hmm. What does that moment feel like, where you're like, yo, like, I know this is it for me. Like, I know this is the career I want, but like, what else is there to do? Like, I just did everything I thought I could. Like, what does that moment feel like?
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. It's like running a marathon, and right before the finish line, it's like you like die. I don't know. I can't even describe it, but it was definitely horrific to be able to. But I mean, it was bad, but it was also just disheartening, because when you put in a lot of work for something that you know you really want to do, and then you know that no other career will fulfill you in that sense of that you feel like you're put on this earth to help people and communicate with people and be able to rehab people. And so when you go through that, it's just like, man, it's like how much work am I supposed to do? Like, I couldn't have worked harder. I couldn't have, it was just like, it was really like everything that I did was just not good enough. And so it's very frustrating. So incredibly frustrating, and just incredibly just a horrible feeling to be able to go through that. But I am glad I did, because it did give me perseverance to keep on going, and to not give up too. So, but horrible. Gosh.
He's like, yeah, I can't underplay that, Joseph.
Yes.
Man, then you decided to take a little bit of time off, right? You took 4 years
Yes.
off.
Yeah.
What did you do in that time frame? And then what's up, Brenton? What's up, Shiro? What's up, Larry? And Sarah Falbo? Great to have y'all live. But like you took that time off. Tell us, one, what you did during that time, and then number two, like what brought you back into the game, because it's almost like you took a little back seat, like PT took a little bit of a back seat.
It did. Yeah, it did.
So what brought you back in the game? So tell us about that.
So it's about a 4-year span between my last cycle and the one I just got accepted into. And so I would work with kids. I'm a teacher now. I'm an elementary teacher, and I was already working with kids. And so I had people saying, "Hey, you know what? You didn't get in. You should go and pursue teaching." And so I'm a physical education teacher. And so you say you love kids, all this stuff. So let's just do that. I was like, all right. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't fully want to do this. You don't want to do this. I'm good with kids, but PT, you want to do PT, you want to do PT. And so I really struggled with suppressing that so that I could do physical education. So I had to really suppress my wanting of physical therapy to do physical education. And it was hard for me to admit that to a lot of people too. And so, so I did that for 4 years. This is my last semester, which I'm very excited. I'm like, hey, I'm done. Kids, if I have 2 bad days in a row, I'm out of there early. But that's what I tell people. But I love. So that's what kind of happened. And he said, as I'm teaching and live with the kids, and it's great. My new girlfriend that I just met, she could tell, because I'm telling people, hey, I eventually want to do physical therapy and all these things. I want to do physical therapy. And she's like, well, are you gonna apply? I'm like, no one's really asked me that. They're like, oh, they just say, oh, okay, cool. But she's like, well, when are you gonna apply? And I was like, maybe this summer. And she's like, no, you should do it this summer. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't know why I haven't. And it was really just fear. I didn't want to get rejected again. I didn't want to go all these things. And so, I forgot. So in the meantime, I'm a Christian. So I got my master's in biblical studies at a college online. And so, and it really was, I love studying all these things, but it really was so that I could have that thing where people, because they would always assume with me, hey, Wes, what happened to physical therapy? And I said, oh, I'm not doing it now, but I'm getting my master's in biblical studies. So it was something to kind of fill the void, in a lot of ways. And so skipping again. So my girlfriend, she was like, yeah, she told me to do that. So again, I'm afraid. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do. If I'm going to do this, I need help. Obviously, I didn't know what I'm doing before. I'll come and get some help. And so I was on Facebook, and I was Googling, PT help, free PT groups. And this one popped up, and I was like, who's this? 2 brothers like me. I was like, I wonder what they're doing right now. I wonder what their program was. And I saw videos, and I was like, I don't know. Let me try it. And then I actually talked to Casey first, and on the phone. And I was like, okay, this is something different. Something very different about this. And they look like they have the tools that can help me. And so, going through the stuff real quick, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. I didn't do this. I should have did this. I should have did this. I should have applied here. Should have did that. And, it worked out. But yeah, but that span of 4 years was a suppression of my love for physical therapy for everything else. And so I had to really suppress it a lot. So it's hard.
Man. You needed a push from somebody, man. And
yeah, I did.
She couldn't have come in your life at a more perfect time.
Oh yeah.
She couldn't have come at a more perfect time. For some of y'all watching this, like, is that you currently? Like, do you feel stuck? And I'm not talking about stuck like confused. I'm talking about stuck like terrified, like scared. Maybe it's because things have not gone your way before. Maybe this is your first time applying and you're just like freaking out. You're just like, yo, I see other people getting rejected. I'm hearing all these stories. I just don't want it to be me. So I'm just so freaked out that I don't know what to do next, right? So you end up like panicking and freezing. And like I get a lot of messages now, Wesley, where students are like, yo, man, this one thing is off, or I'm just not feeling right with the GRE. Should I just wait till like 2021 to apply. And I'm like, is that the only thing you got? They're like, yeah. But if I have an extra year, no, like it's excuses, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, so for you, it was the same thing. You were like it took somebody to just like pretty much be straightforward with you and say, hey man,
Yeah.
like you look like you still want this thing, and you
Yeah.
say it. But where most people will just say, you know, it's cool, yeah, good for you. Like she was willing to call you out on it and say, man, like if that's what you want, why aren't you applying? When are you applying? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, next year, great. This summer, great. Let's do it. Like, man, and that is beautiful. So if for y'all that are watching, if you don't have someone like that, it might be time to find someone that's going to call you out.
Yeah.
Like someone that loves you, someone that cares about you. Maybe it's a good friend, a family member, or whatever. Like, but find someone that's going to look you in the eyes and say, yo, like when it comes to what you're doing right now, when it comes to studying, when it comes to GRE, when it comes to just applying in general, you are lying to yourself and saying that you have all these things in your way, or you are postponing it for other, or maybe you're just scared and they can see it. So I'm glad that she was there, man. And now obviously you found us. You already talked about that. How did the acceptance system kind of help you pull it all together? Like it had been 4 years. You had already gone. For those of y'all that are joining us right now, what's up, Andrew Tyler? What's up, Darshan? Gabby? Great to see every single one of y'all. But like for a lot of people that are just joining us, like Wesley was just sharing that he had applied to PT school 4 years before. Things had not gone his way. Prior to, he had been studying like 30 hours a week because he was trying to retake classes that he had not done so well in. He had started off in his first semester with a 2 something GPA. We don't even know, 2 whatever, right? But ultimately, it was at a point where he was like, I'm just scared of that happening again. Like, I'm scared of rejection. That's the biggest fear for pre-PTs. I'm terrified of rejection.
Oh yeah.
And so for you, you kind of got like realigned and refocused by your girlfriend. You got locked in. You found us. How did the acceptance system kind of help you pull it all together, man? Like, what happened to help you ultimately get accepted into PT school? And then I would love for you to tell us about the day you actually got accepted and what that was like.
Oh yeah. Okay, so initially, which I think is the most important thing that y'all did, was giving people through the videos, giving people the faith again that because of their misfortunes or their certain issues or their certain lack of ability in certain areas, that those things won't discredit them from getting accepted. I think just having that faith of like, okay, hey, your GRE is messed up. It's not great. Mine was not great. I think I got like a 295. It was not great. And that was one thing. And then my GPA is another thing. I'm like, so without y'all, it's like for me, all I'm seeing is like these bad things, and y'all like, oh no, we've seen people get accepted with that. Oh, your cumulative is low. Okay, well, but your grad school thing is great, so that can use that. We can utilize this part of your experience. We can utilize your age. So all of these different components y'all gave really helped to put everything together. And it was, yeah. And so that's like the main initial thing that y'all did. And then another thing that was really amazing was you guys do very well with giving your information out and making it very easy to follow through the videos, through the different links that y'all do. Because I remember, I think I was telling you, like when I first started, like I blew through those videos, those initial videos, because like at that point I was like, okay, I was like, I'm as inspired. I was like, oh, this is actually possible. People with my GPA again in school, like what? So I'm like, so I blew through those videos. I'm just writing notes all over there. I mean, I got notes and stuff, and I was taking notes. I was everything, and I was really locked in, like you said. And so, but it gives you a conviction to keep going, and you're emboldened to keep going because you know that there are people who can do it like you, like other people have done it. And so, those are the two big things that I think the acceptance system does. And I'm grateful for it. I'm very, very grateful for it. So that day was crazy. So so it's like everyone's always anxious, right?
You talk about the day you got accepted, right?
Yeah, the day I got accepted.
Yeah, tell us about it, man. Tell us.
So literally every time I get an email or a phone call, I'm like, dang it, my mom, or it's my grandma. I don't need to talk to them right now. But but like I got an interview, and I mean I got an email, and so every time I get an email that says anything with DPT, my your heart just stops because you're like, ugh. So I'm at work. I had the craziest day at work. Kids are nuts, and I'm driving home, and I get an email. You check an email every 45 seconds. When you're trying to find out an applicant, and I see the University of Incarnate Word, the email, and I'm like, oh crap. And then I'm driving. I'm like, oh geez. So I open it, and it says, Wesley Okeke, congratulations. We'd like to acknowledge you. And like, literally, I didn't even finish the sentence. I literally pulled the car over. And I was literally weeping, just weeping, weeping, because this was something that since I started school back in 2009 all the way to 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 10 years of having that focus of, man, I want to do this. And then the off and ons of those within those 10 years of up and down.
Yeah.
And it all just culminated. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I'm like, this is insane. And then I immediately call my family. We do have like a whole FaceTime group thing. I'm like, hey guys, how are y'all? And my sister already knows. She's like, you got in. She could tell. She could tell. Because I never FaceTime the whole group myself. They're always, and so she's like, and my dad's just like, hey. And he's Nigerian, so he has a Nigerian accent. Oh my God, I can't believe it. This is amazing. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And so, we're all just going crazy. And but that was, I'll never forget. I'll never forget that. But I was just weeping. Just, yeah, it's amazing. It was a good day.
Man, but like, bro, but it means everything.
Oh yeah,
it means everything, man. Like, that was 10 years. 10 years. Like that, like knowing that, like, even in being a physical education teacher, like you weren't like, I mean, it's fun. Like, kids are fun. Kids can be crazy too. I mean, let's be real. But you knew that you weren't living your purpose. You had taken a 4-year hiatus. You had gone through an entire cycle of being rejected, having an interview, being rejected, going through the pain. Y'all, it's not like, for those of y'all that ever think, oh, let me just apply and see what happens. Y'all, like, going through a cycle and things not going your way, it don't matter if you were prepared or not. Like, it's hard. It's hard. Like, it's like, especially because of how much you love this thing that you're pursuing, right? Like, it's almost like you have to like go through a period of like mourning, right? Like, and so having gone through that, having taken 4 years off, having been like revamped, right? Now you have, some clarity, you have a community. Like, still, I'm pretty sure there was a part of you throughout this whole thing, even with the acceptance system, where you were still thinking, man, what if I'm still doing all this stuff that they're telling me and it still doesn't go my way?
Oh yeah.
Like,
there was a point. Yeah. And it's because of, your own self-doubt.
Yeah.
And it's because of it is because of, the grades and the GRE, and they do play perspective, and they're thinking of, okay, there are people that are better than me.
Yeah.
And so it really changed when I was like, you know what, I think I actually have a shot. I do have a shot. There was a video, and it's just like, you're the only you're very unique. And your school that will accept you is that's the school for you. Not every, and there's just a recent post. It's like, I remember, it's like, not every school is for you. I think Casey put it up. Not every school is for you. And that's true. Because there are other schools that I applied to that I didn't get into this cycle, but the perfect school that I got into that I feel like was perfect for me. They accepted me within like 2 weeks, and there are still people applying there that are still waiting for their acceptance now for my class. And this was back in September, and so because when I went there, I just felt. So when I got the interview, I just felt prepared, and I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I thought this was for me. The school was great. I wanted to go, and everything just fell into place.
Yeah.
But I was prepared. So, and the acceptance system helped me prepare a lot of what I needed to get prepared on. And so prepared so that the school would know who I am effectively. Not that I had to pretend to be anybody else, but to know who I was effectively. And they did. And then they literally within 2 weeks, I got that call. I was like, that's all shocked. I was like, so early, like, oh, I've been waiting 6 months from now. But it was wild. So absolutely wild.
Man, for those of y'all watching, can y'all comment this below? I've said this before. I'm always going to say it. And this is something I learned from my wife. Like, she taught me this in moments where this is a little bit after I had finished PT school and I was getting in my head about, not getting a job. I had moved to Florida, no plan, bro. Like, I didn't even get a job for the first 3 months I was down here. So it's a lot of crazy things. And she kept saying this one line, and it's held me together. I've said it for y'all, but I need y'all to understand this. Like, please write this down. Like, comment this below, like, so that you guys can like it's one thing to hear something, but when you hear it and then you actually like write it down, it just like sinks that much more. But the line is this: what's for you is for you. What's for you is for you. So my wife used to tell me that because like there's a lot of times where I thought things should have gone one way, but she was like, Joseph, like you're playing this shorthandedly. Like you're playing as if like if it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, and for me it was like getting my first job. For y'all, it's getting accepted into PT school. For y'all, it's the schools that you think you should be going to. For you, it's maybe applying to 20 schools, which is the wrong way to apply. I'm just saying that. But what's happening is now you're saying, well, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to go exactly. So now everything must not be like, I must not be getting into PT school. I must look for another career path. Y'all, like what's for you is for you. And I honestly believe, y'all, like that when we have something planted on our hearts, whether it's a passion, whether it's something that we feel drawn to, y'all, it's a calling. It's a calling. And for us to start saying, well, I applied this cycle and I didn't get in. Well, like part of it is just realizing maybe I didn't know everything I needed to know to leverage my application. Maybe I didn't apply to the right schools. Maybe I applied to all the wrong schools, because y'all can apply to all the wrong schools for you. Maybe I didn't know how to actually like leverage myself. Maybe I didn't know how to be my authentic self, right? Maybe I didn't know how to do that. Maybe I was just trying to be this applicant paper, cookie cutter applicant that my advisor tells me to be, that I see online that people say, yo, you got to do this. You got to talk like this. You got to, talk about how you love, working out. And y'all, it's a bunch of nonsense. Like you have to be so true to you. Like Wesley, you just said, man, you did not feel like with your school that you got accepted into, like you didn't feel like you had to sacrifice any part of yourself, like any part of your identity. And that and you shouldn't. And you shouldn't. And it's beautiful too, because when it's done the right way, like y'all are different enough, period. Like nobody's like you anyway. So if we're trying to be different, then we have to actually play to ourselves, like who we are as people. But we also have to believe that what is for us is for us. So now if we believe what is for us is for us, now the question is, Joseph, if being a physical therapist is what's been planted on my heart, if it's for me, then maybe it's time for me to start figuring out the steps I should be taking to give myself the best shot at actually getting what's already been destined for me, instead of doing all the wrong things that are holding me back from getting what I was always called to do. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that make sense, y'all? If it's for you, it's for you. So what's for me is for me. What's for you is for y'all. Believe that, y'all. I don't think like things that are planted on our hearts are by accident. I really don't. And if you can hold on to that, then let that be your compass. But if you guys also want to know, hey, what did Wesley do specifically? Like once he got back on this journey, once he said, yo, like I'm ready to figure this thing out, y'all, like I want you guys to go to this link, www.acceptancenavigator.com. Someone who's live right now, if you wouldn't mind commenting, Dawnette, or someone that's live, if you wouldn't mind commenting this below, www.acceptance with a CE navigator.com. Y'all, Casey and I did a 4-part free training for y'all to break down what the things that Wesley did to lock himself in, to give himself clarity after taking a 4-year hiatus, after having a cycle where he got rejected from the schools that he applied to, after feeling like, man, like this thing that I still love feels so far away. It feels like I can't attain it. Well, like now being redirected by his girlfriend and saying, okay, what do I have to do now? Because I don't want what happened last time to happen again. Like, I don't want to go at this shoot in the dark anymore. And what's allowed him to be in this position right now where he can give y'all wisdom. So www.acceptancenavigator.com. Whoever's live, just comment that below. Thank you so much, Dawnette. But Wesley, as we finish this up, man, Wes, tell us, like, what is one piece of advice? Like, talk to yourself right before you got back on this train. Talk to yourself when you were still like super terrified about the application process, scared about being rejected again. Like, what is one piece of advice that you would tell that version of you? Because that version of you, man, is one of these people watching either live or on replay or listening to this as a podcast episode, because it will be, right? Yeah. Like, what would you say?
Yeah, well, first, shout out to .NET, because .NET was my advisor. She was amazing. And if she listens right now, you're amazing. She really helped me out. She's awesome.
She watching.
Oh, she awesome. She awesome. She knows it. Yeah, what I would tell, oh man. Well, I think initially I would say that everything that you're doing right now, Wes, is going to culminate and to make you a unique person. And so stay faithful and stay on the course of doing things and being the person that you need to be accepted into the school. Because I was doing certain things here and there that I thought were good and would help me, but I didn't put too much emphasis on them. And so I would tell my past self now, continue to do those things, because they will help you be unique. And again, definitely not be someone who is just doubting yourself, and have faith, but also have courage to keep trying and keep going. And again, I think that God's timing is perfect, because this cycle was perfect, because I feel like I've culminated myself to be the perfect applicant. I think a year before, I think I wouldn't have been as good. I think 2 years before, I would not have been as good. But this year, and it took a little bit longer, but this year I was perfect for the school that I got, for UIW, the school that I got into. And so, again, it'd be patience and keep going and being confident, and doing your best in everything you do, but also don't rush it. Don't rush it, because this is something, because you have your whole life to work. You have your whole life to be able to get into school and do what you like, and so make sure when it's the right time to do it. And so, again, so for all the pre-PTs who haven't gotten to school yet and who are thinking about wanting to go, who think they're not good enough, listen, my GRE was bad. My prereq GPA was not great. My undergrad GPA was a 2.88, 2.89, one of those. My observation hours, I have a 10-year span of observation hours, so imagine getting those verified. That didn't work very well. Getting letters of recommendation, I had to go back and pull people from years ago, and so that was difficult. And so I had a lot of obstacles, and you have a lot of obstacles too. And so, but you can't give up, and you have to have faith and keep going and trying to be confident and believe that you can get in, and do everything you can and follow close to what the acceptance system is trying to convey to you, and teach you, because it does teach you things. It teaches you a lot. It teaches me a lot of things. And so, if your academic life is anywhere near mine, then you have a shot. But you need to be able to bring out your uniqueness, and you have a shot anywhere. And I'll say one last thing. So when I was at the interview at UIW, there were people who I was very intimidated by, because they had 4.0 GPAs, and they would brag about, I got 4.0 GPA, I'm a PT tech, so I have 3,000 hours, and I'm like, well, they just beat me in 2 categories. And I'm like, oh, my GRE was, it was like a 3 something. I'm like, oh man, they beat me in GRE. They beat me in 3 categories, 3 or 4 categories, every category. And I'm like, dang. But I don't know whether or not they got in that school, but I do know this: I did, and that's what matters, to me. So it doesn't matter all these other statistics, but other than that, it's the matter. If you have the faith to do it, you have the willingness to keep going, you have the will to keep going. All these things, you have the belief to keep going, that you think you can do it. So that's all I got.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have said, man, Wes, you brought the fire. Y'all, can we show some love to Wes for tonight, man, for taking time out of his evening to share his story? Man, so proud of you. Donette actually said you made the process so easy, so proud and excited for you. That's what she said. So
great.
So that's amazing, man. But for those of y'all that are watching, man, I hope y'all learned a lot. Y'all, like, keep pushing. Don't give up. Y'all, and if you feel stuck, like, you know where to go. acceptancenavigator.com, y'all. You shouldn't have to feel like you have to guess, y'all. Like this, like, there's a reason why there's guidance for this stuff. And I don't want y'all to feel like you're crossing your fingers and closing your eyes and saying, I hope I get in. Nah, like, we can't do it that way, y'all. But what's for you is for you. Wesley, once again, thank you so much. Man, you're getting a lot of love from the people, bro. You're getting a lot of love, man. But that's it. That's it. We'll see you guys for the next episode of the acceptance or the pre-PT. Man, what is this now? The pre-PT Inspire series. I have so many names for all this we do. For the pre-PT Inspire series, we have another episode this Thursday. So in 2 days, we have another episode, y'all. Man, we're just trying to make sure y'all have I'm trying to take away all the excuses y'all got for not getting into PT school by showing you that there's, like, people just like you in the same situation as you, same stresses as you, same fears as you, that are also getting in. And it's not something that's like mind-blowingly like different about their characteristics. No, they've just sought guidance, y'all. And that's what we're trying to help you guys out with. So that's it, man. Y'all have a blessed one. Have a great evening. Much love.